Does Colorado Springs still hold the same charm that it did 5, 10, or even 15 years ago? In today's video, we're going to dive into the changes that Colorado Springs has experienced over the past couple years and how that could impact you and your decision to live here, especially if you're from places like California, Texas, or Florida.
From the booming housing market to changes in the community, we're sharing what you need to know. So let's get into it. Is Colorado Springs really losing its appeal?
The elephant room is now and probably always will be the housing market and affordability and population growth in Colorado Springs. From 2010 to 2020, our population grew by about 15%, and now we're approaching 500,000 residents within city limits and about 700,000 people in El Paso County, which includes places like Fountain and Monument.
With all these new people moving to town, the housing market has followed suit. Home prices have gone up significantly in the last few years. While it's still more affordable than Denver, the average home price at the time of this recording here is now probably around $475, almost $500.
When we look at the bigger picture, the average cost of a home in Colorado Springs has really increased over the last several years, which is why if you've been here for more than probably about 10 years, you're jaded. Because the direction of Colorado Springs is only going upwards. In 2015, the average price of a home was around $280,000, which was far below the national average at the time. Fast forward to 2020, the home prices were about $350,000, which were on par. But now, when we're at $475,000, almost $500,000, we are far above the national average, and this is causing problems for residents in Colorado Springs.
Sheesh.
Yeah, and like Sean said, if you have lived here longer than the 10 years or born and raised like Sean and I,
right,
your whole perspective on how much growth the city has had is probably going to be like, stop, don't move here anymore, because it is. It's the population continues to grow and go and go.
Yeah, so if you've been here a long time and you're looking at moving, you're going to look at the cost of housing and go, nah, I'm good on that. But yeah, if you're coming from places like California, Texas, or Florida, where the average cost of a home is more than what it is here in Colorado Springs, it might be a really appealing place for you to look at for you and your families.
For sure. Here's something that's just a little interesting. Despite the rising prices, Colorado Springs is projected to be the #1 housing market in the U.S., according to the Gazette. That means that even though that our prices are higher, people are still flocking here because of the great lifestyle, the amenities, and the fact that it's still more affordable than big cities like Denver, Boulder, or even the metro areas across the country.
There's also surrounding areas around Colorado Springs like Peyton and Falcon and the east side of Colorado Springs where you can still find affordable options. And keep in mind, $475,000 to $500,000 is just the average price of a home. That doesn't necessarily mean that that's the home that you need to get. There's also way more expensive homes. If you're looking at something over $500,000, then the national average doesn't really matter to you necessarily. So that's something to keep in mind too.
Yeah, it's truly like, I mean, we were just in the MLS today. We have a new listing coming live. Well, just hit today, but I mean, there's houses that are, $250,000, a little cute little condo. Condos do have huge HOAs normally, and then there's stuff that's 1.5 million. So really, we have active listings all throughout all different price points. So there's really something for everybody here. So although the cost of housing has increased and the amount of people moving here has increased, we're going to have to say on this first talking point of Colorado Springs, losing its appeal is fake news.
Fake news. So while the cost of housing has gone up and people are moving here by the truckloads, we're still going to be the #1 city to move to in the nation, according to the Gazette. So keep that in mind. Colorado Springs is not losing its appeal based on this.
Nope. It's still amazing. Before we jump into our next segment, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And as always, if you have any real estate questions, be sure to call or text us. We got your back when it comes to moving to Colorado Springs.
One topic that we feel doesn't get nearly as much of attention as it should is the unfortunate fact that homelessness is continuing to rise in Colorado Springs.
For sure.
It has dominated the downtown Colorado Springs area. So if you live in that area and the sun goes down, even when the sun's up, it's just super sad really to see. And it's starting to migrate across Colorado Springs. We see homeless people in areas that I've never seen them before, standing on corners that they've never been before. So
well, and I think a huge a huge reason why, right, is because the cost of living has went up so much and housing is not necessarily affordable. And we have a lot of our vets that, get out of the military, don't seek help, and your mental health is destroyed. Thankfully, especially with Colorado Springs, we do have some amazing resources for the homelessness, for people that are struggling, that need help with getting a job, or that will hold you accountable to being clean and off drugs and off the street.
There's food and housing programs.
So
and
many
things
different
like
food banks. That's a huge thing here in Colorado Springs. We try to, if not donate our time and help with those, we try to donate every single time that we have a closing, we donate to a different charity. But aside from that, it's just, it does, with the cost of everything and the housing being a lot more expensive than what other places are, it pushes people into homelessness, and it's everywhere.
Yeah, and if you're coming from an area where homelessness isn't a problem, it hasn't taken over Colorado Springs as a whole. It's not like you're walking outside and there's homeless people everywhere, but it has risen over the past 5, 10, 15 years, kind of like what we were talking about. So if you're coming from somewhere where you don't experience that, you can experience it in certain areas of Colorado Springs.
It is worth considering if you're planning to move here. While Colorado Springs is still an incredible place to live, the issue does add a layer of complexity to the overall experience of living here. And it's something that requires ongoing community involvement and solutions. And that's what I am super thankful. There are so many different communities, like I had mentioned before, where they do truly want to help and make changes to Colorado Springs homelessness.
So to answer the question, homelessness is unfortunately on the rise, but the city is actively working to improve it so that we can stop the expansion of this and hopefully have a better solution here in the future.
For sure.
So it does play a factor on the appeal of Colorado Springs.
If you are from places like California, Texas, or Florida, you'll want to pay attention to this section on Colorado Springs climate. You might have heard a lot about the unpredictable weather here, and I'm here to clear just a few things up. Yes, Colorado Springs has some unique weather, but trust me, it is nothing new and definitely not a deal breaker for the city's appeal.
Yeah, when people talk about what is appealing about Colorado Springs, coming to this area that we're going to have 4 climates. So again, if you're from California, Texas, Florida, or other similar climates, you know that you will get snow and you will get rain and that you will get hail. It will be windy, it will be sunny. We sit at over 6,000 feet of elevation, which can be a game changer. You'll be fatigued when you first arrive, but in my opinion, this is nothing new. It's always been that way in Colorado Springs, so just something to keep in mind.
Well, and I think too, a big thing when it comes to the weather and the climate of what we have here in Colorado Springs, I mean, we say this a lot, but we get 4 seasons all in one day. It goes from being freezing in the morning to super nice during the day. But also a big thing is the humidity, and that's going to be completely different. Our friends and family that live in Florida, I mean, they don't have to worry about, being dry. Here we have to worry about being dry, and even, our son lives in Texas for part of the time, and he'll come back home and he'll get bloody noses because the climate is so different. In Texas, he doesn't really get those because the humidity is different. So just little things like that are going to be different here in Colorado and Colorado Springs.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily a negative. It's just something that you have to be prepared for. For example, yesterday was like a crazy snowstorm. I'll pop some footage up here of an area through Black Forest, which is super beautiful during a snowstorm. And today it's literally sunny and 65 and the main roads are completely clear. The side roads have snow or whatever on them, but it just keeps you on your toes and it keeps things exciting because it's cool to see snow. Snow! A lot of places have never seen snow, so.
Well, and 2, we are prepared for the 4 seasons. Like I can honestly say that, I lived in Washington State for a few years and they're not prepared for snow. We had a snowstorm and the whole entire city shut down in Washington because they don't have snow plows. They didn't treat the roads. The stores weren't prepared for it. I mean, it literally was the whole town in Bellingham shut down. Right. Now, here in Colorado Springs, our schools may have like a 2-hour delay or they may cancel schools, but the whole city doesn't shut down. The roads are treated before. You have snow plows out, you have private snow plows, you have commercial snow plows, your neighborhoods, if you're in an HOA, they contract. I mean, so we are very much prepared for 4 seasons, and so it's not scary.
Yeah, and same with Texas. Like she said, our son lives there and we have a bunch of friends in Texas, so we hear about the crazy ice storms and the whole city shuts down. It's just simply not the same here. Literally, it will snow, you'll know about it, and then everybody for the most part is going to work the next day. It's a 2-hour delay at most. Sometimes schools will close and things like that, but you know about the road closures and things like that far ahead of time because of social media, which is super popular, and the news. So it really doesn't put a kink in your day. You just have to be prepared mentally and with all of your clothing items.
Yep. If you are worried about the climate, don't be. It's not something that should really hold you back from making Colorado Springs your new home. Bottom line is this: the predictable weather is just part of the charm.
Always been this way, and the people that move here need to learn to embrace it. Don't let the fake news about our climate scare you. It's just part of the adventures of Colorado Springs, and it is not losing its appeal.
No way. Now let's talk about safety. No city is perfect, and Colorado Springs has seen some changes when it comes to crime in recent years. The city has seen a slight uptick in property crimes and thefts in certain neighborhoods.
While that's true, I am a firm believer that it is on you as a homeowner to be prepared for things like that. Even in neighborhoods surrounding us, we'll see on the Facebook pages all the time, oh, this person's doing this again, and that person's trying to get into cars. People are going to be people regardless of where you live. So be prepared. Don't leave your valuables in your car. Don't leave your house unlocked and doors open and windows open, because the more you do that, the more likely people are to scope out your house or car and try to commit crimes.
And that's, just like you said, it's everywhere. You guys, crime happens to, the $1.5 million communities and the low income communities. It doesn't really matter. People that are going to do that type of stuff are people that they don't discriminate.
Yep.
At all. And it's one of those topics as real estate agents where we do get asked, like, what is a crime rate here? Or is this a safe neighborhood? That's always my favorite. Is this a safe neighborhood? Well, what is safe to me is going to be different on what's safe to you. And so ethically, we can't tell you that because it literally is going to depend on what is important to you. If you have small kids, sex offenders is probably something that you're going to want to pay attention to. So there's a website for that, right?
All of our military veterans and things like that struggle with mental health and PTSD, like, these are real life things that you have to just be aware of. And as long as you are paying attention and you're not super oblivious, just Google the crime rate if you're looking at moving to the area and the specific zip code that you're looking at, and you can find out the information that you're looking.
Yeah, like what's important to you? What makes a community safe? And there's the great thing about the internet is there's so many different sites that you plug in your upcoming address and you put crime rate, or you put sex offenders, or you put 911 calls. You can literally Google anything and everything, and it will really kind of give you those statistics. And 9 times out of 10, they're pretty close to being accurate. But it really comes down to you doing that research. We can help you kind of get a gist of the area, but we can't tell you as an agent, this is a really safe neighborhood, or, this has really low crime, because
your definition of safe is different than my definition of safe.
Low crime and high crime is way different. Just with Sean and I, like something that he's going to want that is important to him is going to be different than what I want. So just do your research, know your surroundings, pay attention, and do all of the things to avoid your house like being broken into. Don't leave the windows and doors open, and don't leave valuables in your car. That is one of the one things. There's a ton of different hikes and trails and stuff that you can do. And people will leave their purses right, and especially when I was at the gym, when I ran Gold's Gym, we would have,
and it's the trail.
Yeah,
both of them.
You leave like your car or your purse or your laptop or your iPad right there on your front seat.
No tinted windows, just hanging out. Like,
people literally like walk by it, see it, break your door open and get what they need. Like, Don't do that, right? There's so many things that as an individual, we can prevent our own crime from happening. Now, obviously, you can't control some horrible person doing crime, but you can do preventative stuff to at least help your situation so that way it's lower.
To answer the question, don't let concerns about crime hold you back. Just do your research, stay aware, and you'll find the perfect spot to call home in Colorado Springs.
100%, totally agree. Colorado Springs has always been a great place to raise a family. We've raised ours here. With plenty of parks, schools, and friendly neighborhoods, it's a fantastic place for kids to really grow up. I mean, you grew up here.
I did grow up here. But post-COVID, things have shifted. Before COVID, it was easy to meet people and you'd bump into someone at the grocery store or at the gym or at the park or the coffee shop, and it was an instant connection. You guys became friends. But what I've personally noticed and what I feel through social media is that there's almost like an invisible wall where people can't connect, even though they're still craving that sense of community.
Yeah, I agree. I think a huge part of the shift that's happened, before you could almost accidentally make a new friend, but now there's like this little feeling like we're all in our own little bubbles and unsure of how to really break out of them. I know so many people who are new to the area or even been here for years, and they're still looking for that like sense of belonging. It's like we're all asking, where do we start?
Yeah, and in my opinion, it's something that most of us want, need, and really desire. Like, that's the whole reason that I go to the gym, is because we work in the office, we work with each other. I don't see very many people in a day, so I need that social interaction. But post-COVID, people are just exactly what I just said. We're isolated. We're in our house or in the office all day, and we don't get that social interaction. So it almost feels awkward to go introduce yourself to your neighbor or to someone at the gym or tell someone at the grocery store that you like their t-shirt or outfit or whatever, because it just seems like you shouldn't be socializing with people still.
Yeah, and the good thing is we try really hard to kind of get within our community. We host neighborhood events. We do a ton of neighborhood things. We give little gifts for our
cornhole at the places. We'll do the bingo, like all the...
Right. Speaking of bingo, I do want to do bingo like within like the next 60 days. We need to put that on my calendar.
We're going to bingo. You guys want to come?
Anyways, yep, we will film it, of course. But I think, too, it's one of those things where you have to kind of take ownership and you have to get out of your own way. Like, there's not a wall right here. You have to be proactive. And, you know, we were just we go to our local restaurant at Red's here in Peyton a lot. And I was talking to someone recently about it, and they're like, Crystal, you're always there. And it's because that's our extended family. Like Sean said, we have a home office. We work together nonstop. It's just him and I. All of our family, we have family here in Colorado Springs, but a lot of them have already moved. They're outside of, you know, a quick, let me pop in and say hi to our family. So it's like they are our extended family. Like, they know our kids' names. They know what we do for work. They ask us how we're feeling. And so you have to kind of put yourself out there. And once you kind of give your hand out, someone else will always shake it.
And that's a great thing about Colorado Springs, is that it is a very friendly community. We do a lot of different things outside, especially during the spring and during the summer. And we want to engage with people. If you live in a community, any community, it doesn't really matter. There's going to be food trucks, and there's going to be events, and there's going to be get-togethers at the park, and there's going to be 4th of July celebrations that you can go to, and your local restaurant's going to do this, and the local bar is going to do that. And it's all a part of getting people out of their homes and into the community so that you can engage and socialize and create friends. Even your kids at school these days, it's so funny. Like, our kids will go, oh yeah, I met this person and they seem really nice, but I just stared at them from across the room for an hour. It's like, what does that even mean? Go talk to them, tell them whatever you want to tell them, and then you'll either become friends or you won't click like you thought you did. It's pretty easy.
Sure.
But it's easier said than done.
So if you're watching this, whether you've been here for years or you're still getting settled, take a moment to think about how you can start getting involved. It doesn't have to be complicated. And trust me, the people you meet along the way will really make your time here so much richer.
And if you are in Colorado Springs or planning on coming to Colorado Springs, DM us, leave a comment. We'll be your friends. We'll hang out. We'll go play pool, and we'll play darts, and we'll do karaoke. I don't actually do karaoke.
No, we don't do karaoke.
We do karaoke.
No.
She'll do it with you.
We'll go there and cheer you on. We're just not going to participate.
Bingo in the next 60 days.
Yes. We are happy to be your guides. We're part of this community. We live and breathe it, and we want to help you feel just as connected.
So do you think that the appeal of Colorado Springs has changed positively or negatively due to this?
Due to COVID or due to everything that we already said?
Social engagement, yep.
No, I think it's great. I think that Colorado is an amazing place to call home, and you can get family anywhere that you go.
There you go. it does not affect the appeal of Colorado Springs. You just gotta get out of your bubble. So, is Colorado Springs actually losing its appeal? In some ways, yes, but in many others, it is still a great place to live. The housing market might be heating up, and with the growing pains of the population increases and prices and things like that, it can be a challenge, but I think the positive outweighs the negative.
Absolutely. So if you're considering a move here to our beautiful state or just want to learn more about Colorado Springs, we're always here to help. Don't go anywhere. You can check out another great video on Colorado Springs right here.
Make sure you like this video, subscribe to our channel, and check out this video to make sure that you have all the info you need to determine if you should be moving to Colorado Springs.
As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
Right here.